Okay, great. Because I'll try to end it between our talk session and our meeting session so that I have two pieces. Well, I have lousy Wi-Fi. You guys all locked up.
I can see all the Williams there in the picture. I can see, hi Wyatt, hi Benjamin. No, that's Oliver. I don't see Wyatt. I see Oliver. Yes, Oliver, when you scoot back like that, then I see your whole face. Otherwise, Wyatt Williams' name is covering you up. And Wyatt, are you hiding?
I'm getting the presentation ready. So
Okay.
I'll move back after.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that explanation. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Well, welcome to the meeting tonight.
How are your flowers growing for the wedding?
They are doing stellar, I will say.
Good.
Yes, a couple days ago, one that I grew from seed has finally popped. So I am willing in the next week and a half, these flowers to just burst forth. So that hot weather and the rain is just what I ordered right now. So they're coming together.
Good, very good.
Thanks for asking. I'm surprised that that's a topic of conversation here.
I knew it was a short timeline, aggressive timeline, so I was hoping it all worked out.
It's going great. And Dave has been building these fabulous games, and I have to say he's making outstanding progress also. So he's just put a beautiful, well, let's see, he stained like a garden flower design for Libby on a cornhole, and a mountain and stream design on the other cornhole for Paul. So
Neat.
they look pretty epic, if you ask me. So that's what we've been up to. Okay, how about anybody else? I know not everybody is working on wedding plans. What are you guys up to? It's summer. Dave Harrison, are you doing anything fun?
Not too much, going kayaking tomorrow for the first time this season.
Going where?
Kayaking.
Oh,
all right. That'll be the first time I'm putting my boat in the water this season.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking forward to that.
Well,
We're going up to Black Creek near Churchville.
yes.
So it's a
Okay.
pretty section.
All right, that sounds good. Well, tomorrow's a great day to do that. That's good
Yep.
that you're getting going. Joyce, any bike rides?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am quite a bit. I'm going to do the Tour de Cure. I've been training for the Tour de Cure, doing some hills. And on
Awesome.
Saturday, I'm going to do 63 miles or 64.
That's what you signed up for with the tour?
I signed up. Yes. We raised
Awesome.
some money for, diabetes research. And as many of you probably know, diabetics and the ever-changing approaches to the drugs and controlling it have been wonderful for many people. So, yep, gonna do that Saturday.
Good. Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
We'll hope for a nice, a perfect weather day.
It looks good. Yes. Yeah.
Good. All right. That's excellent.
Thank you.
Hello, Reinhard.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nina and Dave and Al and Lois. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Jim Bird. Looks like you're out on a sailing adventure there.
Just been paddling a lot with Peg Jacobs Waterways people, including the first paddle for me of any length on Seneca Lake Sunday.
This past Sunday,
Yeah.
how was that?
Actually, it turned out all right. Leaving the launch, the waves were around 3 feet, so everybody was a little spooked. But after that, it straightened out. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
That kind of throws you for a loop.
yeah, we were all saying this is supposed to be an 8-mile paddle. 8 miles of this? Oh, no.
It's kind
Yeah.
of scary.
Hi, Grammy.
I think
Hi, Benjamin.
sees his grandmother.
Hi. Nina. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Barb. I'm glad that Barb is on here tonight. She's got a connection to each of the presenters. Her son, Todd, is doing the first presentation, and then Harry Wolf, who's doing the second presentation, is doing a trip that she took just this spring. So she'll be happy to see both of these presentations.
Yep, that's right.
Good. Well, anybody else have a summer adventure to report? What are you doing outside?
Well, Jim talking about paddling on Seneca Lake with 3-foot waves reminded me of the time that Shay and I mistakenly thought that we could paddle a canoe in the St. Lawrence River between islands, up from the Thousand Islands. And this is pretty close to the International Shipping Channel, where these 1,000-foot Lakers go sailing by at 17 knots. You can't outrun these things, in other words. And we were island hopping and having a pretty good time. And then all of a sudden, one of these tour boats that is up there in the Rockport, Canada area came through. And apparently the captain was just not used to seeing a canoe out there and was basically bearing right down on us. This little yellow boat between two islands up in the St. Lawrence Seaway. And it was at that point that we happened to notice that people were congregating on the bow of the boat, apparently looking at us and watching to see what will happen next. And at the very last moment, I think it was, he bore off to our stern. And oh man, I was so grateful.
Yeah, there's a pecking order based on might and size. And you ignored it at your
They're speaking
peril.
first.
That's called, Jim, that's called the gross tonnage rule. Yes.
Yes, that's right. I didn't know the name, but I've experienced the experience. If you look on my background, that's an area in Stonington where all the lobster boats run. And we found out they were a lot bigger than us too,
Yeah.
and much faster.
Where is Stonington, Jim?
It's Stonington, Maine, off
Stonington.
Stonington, Maine, actually about 5 miles.
Okay.
Deer Isle, south of Great Mount Desert Island.
Yeah, we've paddled with the lobster boats off of Mount Desert Island and loved it.
Yeah. Well, this is one big bay south of Mount Desert Island.
Okay,
So,
cool. Was that this summer or?
no, we had gone over, the last time we were there was 2015, though we've rented a place and we're going up this year in September. But we had gone for several times. I ran 3 chapter paddling trips up there, by the way, 2 of which encountered hurricanes. So my batting average wasn't real good.
Hurricanes? Yeah, no, that's not so good.
Yes, hurricanes. Yeah. One of them we got out of there before the hurricane got there. That was all right. The other one we kind of hunkered down, and well, the next morning there were pictures of the lobster boats up on land. So didn't hit the area we were in, thank God. But it did hit southern Maine. So
Wow. Well, anybody have any other trips planned for summer? What else is on the calendar?
Luke and Jim, you've got, how about telling us about your recent adventure to Great Smoky Mountain National Park?
Well, we just got back Saturday. Jim and I were down with a group of people for about a week doing hikes every day. It was fabulous. We had good weather. Saw a lot of cool wildlife, a lot of beautiful flowers. Ended up hiking over the course of the week. We ended up hiking over 62 miles. So we get a lot of mileage in, and a lot of elevation gain. So we can't wait to go down. We saw an elk in the part of the park where they got re-released in 2001. We saw a rattlesnake, which was cool. Some cool bugs. The rhododendrons were mostly already passed, although we did see a few, and we did some hiking on the AT, which was cool. And we knew if we didn't, Reinhardt would be upset at us, so we made sure that we did that. Okay. But Jim, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, Reinhardt, we met some Nobos that were only on the trail from May. So they kind of started late. So do they have a chance of making it? I thought they'd have to be cruising pretty fast to make it.
If they're moving along at a decent pace, they should make it.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke mentioned the rhododendrons, and there were places where the rhododendrons lined the trail for miles on both sides. And even in places where they formed a tunnel that you had to walk under they overgrew the trail and formed a tunnel.
Uh-huh.
And we were probably 2 weeks past their peak. So if anybody wants to go earlier in May and go to the Big Creek area, and it would be an incredible show of rhododendrons.
You know, there's a good show of rhododendrons here. When Barb Harmer had taken me on this hike at Durand-Eastman Park, and it's not around the lakes. It's, is it the orange trail, Barb? The orange or yellow? It's a ridge trail that goes through the golf course.
Oh, that's the yellow tree.
Yellow, okay. And there's a rhododendron valley in there. I mean, it's a hill and it's loaded with rhododendrons. And I would say right now, we probably could still catch those in bloom because they're in a very shaded place. So I'd forgotten about that, but that would be an excellent hike. You can find that hike on Trails Rock and all trails. We started it on Horseshoe Road, and it's a great trail. It's a little bit different than the Tri-Lake trails and where you cross country ski, but it's a great trail. We did it a couple times.
Does that go up and down the hill?
Yes, it's a very hilly trail. Yeah.
Oh, we ski it. You just have to have enough snow.
They're pretty big hills.
Yeah. You just have to have enough snow.
Yeah. Okay. This is not like from it. You don't start at the golf course for this. Okay. Annie, I think you're more adventurous on cross-country skis than I am, but
only when there's a good enough snowfall will I do that. Because otherwise, I mean, I chipped a tooth on that one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful trail and I highly recommend it. Okay, so one question for you, Jim's gone for a moment, but Luke and Jim, so how does hiking in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park compare to Adirondack hiking? Is it?
The biggest difference by far is the quality of the trails. The first day, Jim and I, we got down there earlier, so we did a long, well, it was about a little over 12 miles, but over 4,000 feet of elevation gain. And the trail the elevation profile literally looks like a pyramid because the trail's in incredible shape. It's very gradual, very little rocks. You're walking on dirt almost the entire time. There was switchbacks. I mean, it was such a relief if you're used to hiking the high peak trails like we are.
So maybe not as rugged.
It's a lot easier than the high peak trails, and you just don't feel beat up after hiking that the way you do in the Adirondack. So that was the biggest difference. And the mountain laurel was in bloom, and I love mountain laurel, so that was beautiful. Nice. The first day hike was in an it was like hiking in a rainforest. It was extremely humid, but also it's an area that just you can tell is very moisture rich. And Jim used to go to college and was out in the Seattle area, and he mentioned several times how it reminded him of the Olympic Peninsula area.
Because
We also saw the
Mountain Laurel
synchronous
or what?
fireflies.
What, Jim?
The synchronous fireflies.
Yeah, we did that too.
There's small populations in the Smokies. They call them synchronous. They're more rhythmic. So what happens is, we're in the field where we were looking, there were probably like 20 or 25 fireflies, and none of them would flash for about 30 seconds. And then over the next 5 seconds, they would all flash. And then they would go quiet again for 30 seconds. It was kind of like seeing these little star constellations suddenly appear. It was pretty cool. And yeah, that was that I thought was a highlight.
Yeah, the park's big enough. I think it's about 500,000 acres. Obviously, you can't compare it to the size of the Adirondacks, but it's still big for a park. And there's areas where if you want to see elk, you got to go to this area. If you want to see the fireflies, you have to go to this area. The AT basically splits the park all the way through and represents kind of like the halfway point north-south, but it's also the Tennessee, North Carolina state borderline. And the AT just gets a lot more traffic, but it still was in better shape than the Adirondack High Peak trails. So that was a lot of fun. And we met some really interesting, fun AT through hikers. And when we were up at Mount Kimmerer having lunch, if anybody's a Harry Potter fan, we met someone whose through hiker name was Hagrid. And he was a big, gregarious guy with a beard. He fit the part perfect. I took a picture of him. He was fabulous. So I posted that. So yeah, it was great. We definitely want to go again. We did a lot, but there's a lot more we want to do.
Very nice. And
I'll just make a comment that the those trails you're talking about were mostly, not all of them, but mostly built by the CCC in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why they're so good.
Somebody knew what they were doing, Jim.
Yeah, that's where I learned how to hike, by the way.
Okay,
Oh, really?
cool.
Yeah.
nice. Jim, what about that park reminded you of being out at what other park in the
Well,
West?
mostly the North Cascades in Washington State, and it had to do with it was just very damp, very lush. There was lots of ferns and lichen. We had a slight rain, which sort of added to it. But it just seemed, yeah, the fog that was there, it just seemed so it was wet, big trees. We went through a really cool, this was down in the Cartolucci area, a grove of old growth tulip trees. And the biggest one was probably
Zoom meeting.
12 feet diameter at the base.
What diameter?
12 feet, maybe 10
Wow.
feet.
Wow.
It was enormous. So it was actually pretty cool to see those really giant tulip trees growing down there.
Supposed to be one here.
Very cool. Was it wet there the whole time that you guys were hiking?
No.
No,
Well,
that first
it was a
day
little
was
bit
just
wet.
in a very, very
Okay.
moist area.
Mhm.
Very nice.
We had a pleasant surprise at our second campground. There was literally a pileated woodpecker nest just behind the campsite. And the mama kept poking her head out once in a while. Assuming it was the dad would come back and pass some food in, and she was making a racket most of the first day we're there. But I mean, we could take pictures of her, videos of her. You dream about having an occasion like that. So that was a lot of fun.
And she slept at night?
Yeah, she was relatively quiet at night, thank God. There was a bear in the area in the campgrounds.
what?
So the rangers were coming by and they were going to be ready to take action. I guess this bear has been through there a number of times. So Jim and I were kind of talking. There was a young couple from Miami in this campsite next to us. And we were trying to talk them off the ledge of they weren't going to get killed and they could actually stay where they were. Everything turned out okay.
Good. Okay, well, who else has been out there? Or where are you going? What else is a good summer adventure? Anybody got one?
Well, if they led us over to Europe, I'm supposed to go see Dave and Jordan. over in London, and we're supposed to go off to Scotland
Uh-huh.
and do some hiking, maybe in the Coolin Mountains on Skye. They
Okay.
took the baby out for his first hike today in the Peak District in England. So
Good.
if people know Dave, and they're 6-month-old, his name is Denali. So he's got mountains. He's got a big mountain to live up to.
Right. Dave used to be our young members chair until he married and moved out west and then moved to England. So I think he's missed, but currently we have a new family chair who's he's absent from the picture right now, but he's present with his family, and he's a family guy, and he's going to be our first speaker tonight. But Todd Williams also he's got a hike planned for a week after this talk. So it's on the calendar, but he will tell you about it tonight when we do the announcements. You can't see Todd right now, but you can see his wife and Benjamin, his wife Tara, and his oldest son Wyatt, and Oliver is in the green shirt, and Benjamin is the youngest, and they're all going to help tell us about their bike ride on the C&O rail trail this a couple years ago. So in a few minutes, not just yet. So anybody else got something to share with us?
Well, I was up in the Adirondacks this past weekend.
Yes.
With that, the National Trails Day on Saturday. And I volunteered on a trail crew, and we did a little repair work on a bridge, which is actually the bridge carrying the Van Hovenberg Trail over McIntyre Brook.
Reinhardt, you were there? I was there too.
Yeah.
But I was on Mount Joe.
You were on Mount Joe. Okay. I know they had I think they had 4 or 5 different crews out in the field, but we had a fairly small crew. Was the leader, whose name was Sam, and then there were 4 of us volunteers. But it was a good day. Sam knew what he was doing, and he had things very well organized. So and the hikers that all passed through. Of course, Saturday was a nice day. It was warm. And we had a lot of hikers passing through. Of course, we had to detour them to get off the bridge while we were working on it. But it was fortunately, it was a pretty easy crossing of McIntyre Brook at that location. So it wasn't a big deal.
That's
So
wonderful.
you worked on the Wonky Bridge, right? The bridge that always gets washed out. You worked on the Wonky Bridge?
I had not heard it referred to by that name. It's about from the trailhead, at Heart Lake. It's less than a half a mile in.
Once you get to the Wonky Bridge, you're like, we're back! Thank God.
Oh, I hadn't heard it referred to as the Wonky Bridge.
Oh well, maybe it's just among my little group, but it's because it always gets washed out, and there's another layer underneath it too. So
Well, Annie and Reinhard, thank you for volunteering up there to do that trail work. And I should say that the Adirondack Mountain Club that's in Lake Placid, they offer many opportunities for members, or I don't even know that you have to be a member, for volunteers to come and help do trail work or get the Heart Lake to get it ready for the season. They have trail
and
weekends.
JBL too. I went up for the JBL opening too, so they have those opportunities as well.
Okay, and a couple other opportunities are to be trail stewards, volunteer trail stewards throughout the summer, and campground hostesses. They're on the website, so you can find them, but you do have to sign up in advance. I mean, did you guys sign up very far in advance to work on this weekend?
Yeah, Yeah, I signed
I
up quite a
did.
ways in advance, but the nice thing they do for you is if you're a volunteer, for instance, they made a campsite available to me at the Heart Lake campground, at that site for 2 nights, for Friday and Saturday. So I got up there early afternoon on Friday. I did a little hiking, and then on Sunday, I actually climbed Marcy. Took advantage of being up there for the weekend. But they did make it nice, and I don't know if any of you have stayed at the Heart Lake campground, but it's a very nice campground.
They've
Did
installed
Kayla
bathrooms
then,
and
Reinhardt? Because I think Kayla was doing a group stewarding because she's training the new stewards up on Marcy on Saturday and
I
Sunday.
did. I ran into them. I ran into
Yeah.
a group. It was like 4 stewards and 1 assistant DEC ranger that were up doing some delineation on Marcy. That was on Sunday.
Oh, were they doing some scree wall stuff?
Yeah, they were placing those little rocks to delineate, the path. They're trying to keep folks
Yeah,
confined to trail and not wandering off into the alpine vegetation.
right. Yes, they call it the scree wall work.
Okay.
Yeah, the woman who shared my campsite was on your crew, Kate.
Okay. Yes, Kate. Yes. Yep.
Jill, we
So
shouldn't
did they
forget
also
about trail work this past Saturday. Our own local club doing the FLT down, Beth Wheeler organized, and there was 10 or 11 of us down there. Just, you can do it locally too.
Where is it that you were doing that work, Larry?
Well, did I break up? It looked like it did.
So that was, we were down there too. And Shay and I were down there with Larry and Beth Wheeler and a bunch of other people near North Hornell. And I really want to put a plug in here because Beth Wheeler just does a great job of organizing this, and it makes it a fun event too. I mean, it's just it was not just slogging along a trail and fixing it up. It really was an opportunity to certainly fix the trail up, but also just to have a chance to meet people, other ADK club members, and have a chance to socialize too.
And we got to camp at the nearby county campground.
Canacadea Park.
Yes, about empty, and we had the spot closest to the lake. We had any choice of a dozen of them right there at the lake.
Nice.
So it's pretty empty.
Though we were warned that particular campsite had been underwater about a month beforehand.
Sounds like timing was perfect then. Very good.
With that Mount Joe project, they're building a new long trail up Mount Joe, making it more sustainable. So the plan is to bring a lot of cinder perhaps in to make it more sustainable, since so many people use it up there.
Okay.
Because the ones that are there right now are eroding terribly.
Okay. Well, it's such a beloved trail, so that's great that they're doing that. Okay.
Larry, you just got back from a trip out west, right?
Oh, let me see. Oh, I'm unmuted. Yes. And you're going to see parts of it, in the second presentation today. That trip I did last fall, a week after our speaker, but this past one last month was done by Pack Paddle and Ski. Al, thank you. And we did canyoneering, and it was really a step up from last fall's trip. We got to rappel, we got to lose a lot of skin on rocks, and the best part about it is that I know I'll never go into those canyons again because I don't have the equipment to get me there. But it was really special. Lots of good pictures.
It looks like a
good
neat-
pictures there.
A neat trip. It looks like a neat trip, and it's really something that you really couldn't do without help, clearly. So that's
Well, I
what
think what goes up, what he has on his.
I think that's what Harry will be talking to us about in the second presentation tonight. It's just about time to start. So I think that we could turn it over to Luke, and Luke might have a few announcements.
Sure, Jill, thanks. So, yeah, I don't have much. I just want to remind everyone, in case anyone's a new member, so this will be the last chapter meeting until September. And our new programs chair is lining up some really cool presentations for the fall. And we're calling those, and you'll start to see that on the website, even on the homepage. We're calling those outside voices. We're trying to reach out to people that are outside of the mainstream of maybe some prior presentations, and with the possibility of maybe even being able to do Zoom in the future to grab people from long distances. If we can do that in the Eisenhart, then we can pull in maybe some bigger names, longer distances. But the two ladies who set the fastest known time, unsupported record of the 46, we're having those in September, Katie and Beth. And we're really looking forward to that. That's probably the first thing you see on our webpage right now when you go to it. In October, we're going to have Brad Edmondson, who wrote A Wild that you've been hearing a lot about. That book of the founding of the Adirondacks. I just bought it. I'm going to be starting to read it. I've read that as well. So those are two examples. You also picture Brad on the homepage, because Bill has set that up, that there's rolling images that are all beautiful images that come across the screen. He worked that out with Katie. So look forward to that. Look forward to seeing people in person in the fall. That'll be nice. The only position we're still looking for volunteer for is the young members chair. So if you know me or have them contact me. I know I've spoken to some people in the past, and one of the hesitations was they thought they had to attend all the EC, the executive committee meetings. That's not true. So if that's an impediment, that should not be an impediment. So I wanted to let people know that. But again, if you have any candidates or you want to speak about that, have questions, then please contact me. Okay. I think that's about it, Joe.
I